President Bola Tinubu yesterday led other top government officials and foreign diplomats, including Vice President Kashim Shettima and President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, to mark Nigeria's 64th Independence Day celebration at the forecourt of the State House, Abuja. This year's event, themed Reflecting on the Past, Inspiring the Future, marked in a low-key comment to the arrival of the president, who was the guest of honor, accompanied by his wife, Senator Oluwemi Tinubu. Arise News correspondent Ferdinand Duroha, who was live at the Independence Day celebration, reports.
Held at the forecourt of the presidential villa, Nigeria's 64th Independence Anniversary celebrations retain all necessary ingredients befitting a national celebration, despite the federal government's decision to celebrate low-key.
Nigeria, with their cutlasses and cutting off the best and preparing themselves. Now, will make their way towards the national treasure, and they will attempt to lift it all by themselves.
Those in attendance, dressed in beautiful attires. Guests were treated to colorful military parade.
Senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 64th Independence Anniversary celebration.
Various routines, including exchange of guards, colors patrol, choreographed silent drills and precision marches in slow and quick time. The military drills showing alertness, expert weapons handling and dedication highlight the takeover of command from the colonialists and reinforce the important role of the armed forces in maintaining the nation's unity. Also, the rendition of sonorous tunes by the mass band and cultural performances showed strength in the nation's diversity. In attendance are the President and the Vice President of Nigeria, principal officers of the National Assembly, cabinet members, Chief Justice of Nigeria, service chiefs, diplomatic community, captains of industry, and representatives of the organized private sector and Nigerian students. Other events at the celebration are the signing of the Independence Anniversary Register, cutting of the Independence Anniversary cake, and releasing of pigeons. Away from the celebrations, some of those in attendance speak on the significance of the day.
You can see how Nigerians have all come together. Nigerians from all walks of life, they've gathered here and they put aside some of those temporary challenges that they have to believe in this country, to support Mr. President, to support the cause of this administration, to also show that despite all our challenges, Nigeria is a very resilient country. We're all coming together to march on to the prosperity that Mr. President has all promised us. By God's grace, we're all going there.
64 years ago, we started this journey compared to other countries. Some we have achieved better than, some we can achieve better than us, and that is why Mr. President is calling on all Nigerians to mobilize and support the choices that have made in order to ensure that Nigeria takes its place of pride.
Insecurity remains a major challenge and a clog in the wheel of Nigeria's progress. But the Chief of Defense Staff says this will soon be over.
The armed forces are determined to ensure that there is total peace in Nigeria. We will continue to do whatever it takes to restore full peace in Nigeria. We're happy, we are progressing. Like you've heard, we've taken down over 300 bandit leaders, Boko Haram leaders. We will continue to do more. 2G is our next target. We want to assure Nigerians that we want to get that man out of the way, and all other ones that are making Nigeria unsustainable. We are going to progress. That I can assure Nigerians.
The messages are built around the theme of this year's celebration, reflecting on the past, inspiring the future. A message by the President galvanizing hope. A spectacular parade by Nigeria's armed forces showing unity, and a colorful performance by the cultural troupe showing exactly what Nigerians can achieve if we all work together. Now, these are some of the messages highlighting Nigeria's 64th anniversary celebration. From the presidential villa, Ferdinand Duroha, Arise News.
Well, thank you very much for that report, Ferdinand. But still in the spirit of Independence Day, even though it was yesterday, we have Dr. Bati, Dr. Ruben Bati with us here. Good morning, Dr. Bati.
Good morning. Morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Rufai, yesterday we took the Independence Parade live, straight from the forecourts at the State House, and we've seen some key figures tell us about, spread messages of hope, what Nigeria has achieved, reflecting on the past, looking to the future. Your take on this story?
So a couple of things. I mean, it was a very interesting ceremony that celebrated Nigeria, that showed the grandeur of our culture. And also, I must commend Hanasu Musawa on that poem that she spoken word that she read out, that we had seen constantly being played here, that speaks about the greatness of the country and how we can harmonize all of our great resources together. You can see it was a tapestry of many cultures, our drums, our dances from every part of the country. And also the symbolic releasing of the pigeon, to be able to symbolize hope. And that's really needed at a time where the country is faltering and suffering a lot of challenges. Also, going back was the back and forth, we had as regards protocol. I think Dr. Pati pointed it out while we're here, of the national anthem going out first when the vice president was there. We didn't know that the president was going to come afterwards. Then there was a second national anthem, as against the normal convention of protocol.
It's new. Maybe they just liked the sound of it.
I mean, alumnuses of the State House can tell them more about protocol. So maybe if you guys want to get protocol right, you should be able to ask Chief Doctor Alumnus, the General, Dr. Abati, here as regards the protocol system. I also were a bit taken aback. Maybe it's those that play the music when they were playing the
president's signature song.
Signature song. So when you look at it, is it the king of Nigeria now? I mean, what are we saying here? I mean, he's supposed to be the chief servant at a time like this. But it was a good one. He checked through the guards yesterday. I also love the introduction of the bagpipe, which he started doing in 2006, and it was well attended, members of diplomatic corps. Yeah. We saw the national Ashwebi. Some people had done the national Ashwebi. Some people didn't wear it. I didn't see Mr. Wike wearing it.
He wore a suit.
He wore a suit, and he was quite very dapper in the suit, and he put, what's it called?
A green pocket square.
A green pocket square in it. But some people wore the Ashwebi. Maybe some people's tailors didn't turn it in on time. Some didn't turn it in on time. And I also saw a lot of the ministers wearing the Bola Ahmed Tinubu insignia cap. And I'm looking what's going on here. And all of this was just a continuation from his speech, which the cable newspaper has fact-checked that most of the things he said in the speech were not correct. And I think that speaks volumes of his speechwriter. It's an indictment on the presidency. In fact, the cable first fact-checked, and I think I sounded this yesterday, that when they said he had cleared ways and means, no, it was securitized. And secondly, when they said they had gotten 30 billion in foreign direct investment, no. In fact, Dorita Nite, the Minister of Trade and Investment, had just announced that there were commitments worth over 30 billion. So it was not that the money had come in, to the economy. So, but all in all, good celebration, very low-key. Let's see how this pans out. But I think the speechwriter should check that speech again.
All right, Dr. Abati.
Okay, here we go. Yesterday was October 1, the same day that China was celebrating its National Day. There was an instructive, informative article on the back page of this newspaper yesterday by Issa Aremo, the Director General of the Michael Emodu Institute of Labor Studies in Ilorin, where he was trying to compare Nigeria with China. He said, well, it was under Mao Zedong in 1960 that China declared a national day. If you compare Nigeria and China today, well, the comparison will be like comparing apples and oranges. Even if you take some other countries that attained independence in 1960 against Nigeria, or with Nigeria, as the proposition will be more correct, you will see that Nigeria has fallen behind. Last week when we discussed this same topic ahead of the October 1 celebration, we said Nigeria is a crippled giant And I quoted Professor Osa Osai, who wrote a book in that direction. And then, of course, yesterday, there was a bombshell of a newspaper editorial in Punch newspaper, which says, look, Nigeria has lost its way. After 64 years, he says this is an adult that is behaving like a deformed child. In other words, there seems to be an emerging consensus of opinion that there is something wrong with Nigeria, that Nigeria could have done better, that Nigeria could have behaved better. Chinua Achebe long ago told us that the problem with Nigeria is leadership. Some other theories on the subject of Nigeria's evolution and psychological situationing have also said that perhaps it's not just the leaders, it's also the people, the followership. So here we are with that dilemma, and yesterday we celebrated 64th independence anniversary. President Tinubu, after a fashion, decided to have a low-key event. Well, that low-key, somber, celebration will have made sense if in terms of the attitude of the government also, they refrain from buying yachts, they refrain from extravagance, they refrain from ostentatious living, conspicuous consumption, which Thorsten Veblen says is an indication of the disconnect between the ruling elite and the people. But yesterday, in the forecourt of the State House, we had that ceremony after a fashion where the president comes in, the bagpipers play, he inspects the guard of honor, there is the color patrol, there is drill. These are normal things that they do anyway, in the villa. Every morning there is a change of guards. But what I found disturbing yesterday was that the national anthem was played twice. I had to call some of our old colleagues to say, why are they playing the national anthem twice? You play the national anthem once because there's only one president. And it is when that president arrives that you play the national anthem to signal the commencement of proceedings. Indeed, in many occasions, or events, when the president is seated and the national anthem is played, they close the door. Nobody else comes in. You will have to take express permission from the president for you to be allowed in. You don't come in after the president is seated. And they won't play the national anthem, before the president. But, these people, I don't know. But the bigger issue, however, is about the content of the speech that the president delivered. Yesterday, I made a point that when a president speaks, we're looking for sound bites, we're looking for policy statements, we're looking for things that will connect with the people. I feel personally embarrassed as a person who once took an oath of allegiance and oath of office as spokesperson for the president of Nigeria, that, look, this speech is now being torn apart by people on social media, including lawyers who said they were involved in the case. To say that the president of Nigeria was lying to Nigerians yesterday is very embarrassing. One gentleman who said, he was a lawyer involved in the case, says, no, it's not true that Nigeria has settled ways and means. He added that it is not true that we have procured a foreign direct investment up to $30 billion in an environment where the exchange rate is about 1,700 naira to the dollar. And that he can prove it that the president of Nigeria was lying to Nigerians. No, that's scandalous. Whoever submitted that paragraph for inclusion in the president's speech, his head must roll. Because the principle here in presidential politics is that you have to protect the president. The president cannot take bullets for himself. Whoever was so negligent to put lies inside the President Tinubu's speech must suffer for it. That was the drill in our time. And in any case, before a president speaks to the people and he will be quoting figures and all that, in our time, a committee, after the speech has been prepared, will be put together and we will go line by line, line by line. Anybody who had anything to say in terms of expertise will say, no, that figure is not correct, this one is not correct, and we'll keep changing it, that's how it's done. But Okay, no two presidencies are the same. Every president has his style. But I don't think that a presidential speech on the occasion of October 1 is something that should be given to tyros in Nigerian politics and processes, presidential processes, and then to put the president in an embarrassing situation where some people will come up and say the president lied. No. That's not how presidential politics is played. Finally, the state governors, including the president, they have all preached to us the message of hope. From Lagos to Ogun, to Nasarawa, to Kaduna, to Kwara, all the governors joined the president in saying that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Well, when they say light at the end of the tunnel, as a student of literature, I take it for granted that when you are in the tunnel, when you get to the end of the tunnel, what you will see is light. What Nigerians are asking for is, when we are inside that tunnel that is dark, can you give us light inside the tunnel, in the middle of the tunnel, so that the light we see at the end will add to our vision? We will not end at the end of the tunnel and we will not be able to see. You know, when you go from darkness to light, you will be managing for a few minutes.
Like torchlight or lantern inside.
Whatever. Let them give us light, even as we are going through that tunnel. I rest my case.
Absolutely. Dr. Batia, I got a few messages here around the protocol of the anthem, that when the vice president comes up, an abridged version is played. Then the president comes in and then the main anthem is played.
Well, but I speak from experience. Yeah. That was not what we did in our time. We also had a state chief of protocol and we worked directly with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Right. So there's nothing, is there an abridged version of the national anthem of Nigeria? If there's an abridged version, let them tell us, and that one is more authentic than the other.
Okay, well, a lot has been said this morning, but let me just pick up some things that were said by subnationals, because a lot of attention, of course, and rightly so, is put on the center on days like this. And the people are looking to the president, during his speech to see whether he'll be able to give some hope or some substance as to the alleviation of their challenges. It would have been great if he perhaps acknowledged the protesters or people who had come out to say that they were hungry or that they wanted the president to attend to them and their agitations. He tried to do so through announcing the National Youth Conference, which has been met with mixed signals. I'm still of the opinion that it was a good move to at least demonstrate to some extent that he's listening to the people, but it's the outcome or how that is run that would then determine whether or not it's just another charade or he's really serious about this. But some people have said it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money. Why is he spending money? I mean, of all the things that he could do, why announce a 30-day National Youth Conference? What are they doing for 30 days that they cannot do over a virtual meeting, and or some of the agitations to respond to some of those that have already been put out by the protesters in the interim, and then demonstrate to us the seriousness to want to listen to the people. But I want to talk about what the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said. And I thought, on reflection yesterday, I thought about this. It echoed my thoughts around a growing sense of apathy, distrust, restiveness. One of the things that was not included in that speech, or perhaps one thing that we should talk about, is this growing disunity along ethnic lines in Nigeria, this division, this sense of almost losing the sense of Nigerianness. You know, if you ask the question, what is the Nigerian dream? What is the vision of a Nigerian? It's lost on us. A lot of people now, in pursuing or trying to get the daily bread, are just looking for ways to survive body, soul, and spirit. And again, from the elections and rhetorics, especially by leaders, we have seen growing discontent and growing disunity and growing intolerance amongst the people. The president has to do something about that. We've often brought in the conversation around the National Orientation Agency and what they're doing to push that vision, that rhetoric of one Nigeria. Because at the end of the day, if people are just existing together, north, east, west, south, and they're just staying and nothing, there's no cohesion, it's a melting pot waiting to bubble over. So I'm just hoping that there will be actions, deliberate actions, whether community-led, whether through traditional and religious leaders, to bring people together and to get some sense of unity. But one of the ways to do it, at least, is to have economic prosperity. Because there's larger intolerance when people cannot eat. Then you begin to remember that, okay, this is just for my community, people, just my family, we support this particular ethnic group and the likes. I think that is something, even though subtle, that must be paid attention to, especially at this time when we celebrate the independence of Nigeria. Nigeria didn't gain independence 64 years ago for us down the line to be so divided, more than perhaps we've ever been in recent times or even at all. So that's something that we cannot shy away, and it's not going to be solved by unity fabric. The unity fabric is not going to bring Nigerians together. The people look nice, it was colorful, it was great for the person who wants to win the money, and it was good to see the president's wife try to make an effort or a gesture in that direction, but it doesn't in any way cut it when we talk about unity. The NYSC was set up for this same purpose following, post the Civil War, but we have seen that the gains from that has almost been eroded in recent times because there's a growing distrust. And so government must acknowledge this and find ways to deal with it. In terms of the other fact-checking, a number of things have been said, and I'm sure we're going to detail this as we speak to our guests later on today. We're going to detail and discuss a lot about the president's speech and, of course, what's happening on the global scene.